CATIA V5 curve sculpting. So this will be the output of the mesh. As you can see, if I will go over here with back, this will be one step backwards. And I will just delete that curve because I want to start that from scratch. So let's take a look at the tooltip for curve sculpt. We see that we can sculpt the polygonal mesh using curves. We can also manipulate the offset and the influence points, so we can slightly change the, let's say, the rotation of that newly added triangulated shape along that curve. And we can also refine if the triangulation is too coarse. We can make use of three profiles, so we have smooth, sharp, and circular. And we can also check the dynamic checkbox in order to sculpt the mesh on the fly. So let's get started. I will go over here and I will create a paint curve. I will leave this to be fit. And I will start to position various points over here. So in this case, the mouse double click. I will just redo that because I want everything to be within the same paint curve. We have the possibility to merge those, but for this case study, I will just want to use a simple one. So I should change my mouse because sometimes it just double clicks and it's quite annoying. Over here to end it, I will hold down Control, do a simple click somewhere over here, and that should automatically close that loop. Now we see the mesh over here and we see the curve position over here. In some areas it will be a little bit offsetted from the mesh, but for this case study it should be more than fine. Now I will enable the curve sculpt and we're gonna see that we can select the profile over here. I'm gonna choose the first one to be smooth and I will select the mesh curve. Afterwards I need to hold down Control and select also the mesh that will be used as a support for this curve, in this case the monkey head. And we're gonna see that this will be unable to create a vertex path, so operation will fail. Let me enable dynamic and see if this will work. So we see that in this case the curve sculpt doesn't want to add that. This is only can be also a problem because before I started to record this video I already had this mesh deformed once. So let me just show those and see if I can select that. Okay, so when we have this operation failed for vertex path, I will just delete that, delete the monkey head, and I will just reveal the first one. So that was a copy of the original one. And I will just copy this and paste it. And let's retry to do the same over here. So paint curve. Again, I will slightly choose the location of this curve. So along the eyes of the monkey. Over here at the end, I will just move it over here once and afterwards hold down Control. So that has been looped. And let's take a look if this will work. So we have the curve sculpt over here. I selected the curve, hold down Control, selected the polygonal mesh, and you're gonna see that now it will work. Since this was a fresh copy of that STL, in some cases it will be buggy. So at the end I will also try to apply a new one of the same mesh and we're gonna see if that will work or not. Now we see how that geometry was added along the curve path. We have two options over here. So we have the offset one, which will be the offset value. So if I'm gonna just make this like 50 millimeters, we're gonna see that it will go all the way there. You can also check the dynamic box over here and that will move, let's say in real time with those. So if I will hit, I will also use show over here to show the influence area. which will be the area where that geometry will be added. So depending on the profile, that area will also change in some cases. But strictly as a distance, it will be the same. It will just be that the profile in section will be different. So if, for example, I want to add some points, I can do that by going to the blue till point over here. I can move that to the desired location, just like we did previously with extract curves. And after that, when we have a point position, we can select that. We see that this now updated to 50 millimeters, which is the offset value. As we see, this is no longer so high. If I'm gonna go, for example, over here to 200, and I will just do a simple click, since we have the dynamic check enabled, that this will move in real time. And afterwards, we're gonna have those points. So on the point, we can specify the exact position of the point. And afterwards, from that point, we're gonna have a normal tangent, so which is this one. We can select that arrow, and using the mouse, we can have that rotated. And we're gonna see what will be the output of that. And again, if you want to, you can position multiple points. For example, maybe I want another one over here, and I want this to be open as well. And you're gonna see how that profile will change along this. Now, regarding the refinement, over here, if I will go over here a little bit closer, we're gonna see those triangles that will define the shape. They are a little bit harder to visualize within the wireframe, but if I will just click refine, that will add additional geometry. So it will have the same effect as the refine over here on editing. So click on refine once, we're gonna see how those triangles will be smaller. Click once again, and those larger triangles have been splitted into multiple. We can also change over here the profile. As you can see, this will have a sharper points at the end, and this will be more smooth and more rounded. And the final will be the circular one. We can also have this also rotated. I want to change that a little bit. And other than that, if, for example, if I will make this again to be only 5, I will do another click. We're gonna see how that will update. Keep in mind that for these values, you can also go within negative direction, so that will go inwards. But usually, depending on the on what exactly you want to add, it is recommended to go with a positive value for this one. And over here, the influence area, for example, if I will make this quite small, for example, 5. Again, I need to do a click over here in order to have that updated. So we have the possibility to click apply. We also have the possibility to do an OK. I have changed the offset to be 35, but we see that it hasn't updated in real time. So only now it updated. So keep that in mind. For example, if I will now add 100, in this case, it has updated. Again, 35 has updated as well. But depending on some settings, when you're gonna move over here from various profiles, it will not automatically update in some cases, even though it has a dynamic options. Usually, if you press the tab key, that should do that update. For example, 100, press the tab key, and in most cases, it will do. So we have that curve, and now for this mesh, if I want to add another curve, I can just go over here on paint curve, and I will select this. I will no longer close that one, and go to curve sculpt. I selected that, afterwards the monkey head, and we're gonna see that we can apply multiple curves and use them all to sculpt our meshes. So again, we have the offset, we can change that alignment. In this case, since we don't have a close loop, we're gonna have those 2 points. so the end and the start that we can change around. And if you want to add more points, you can just use the same workflow as before. Okay, so this was regarding curve sculpt. Keep in mind that you can also refine. If I will heavily refine this, we're gonna see how sharp that will become. I click this multiple times and we see that CATIA is still struggling to define that, since from each triangle it will create two other triangles and afterwards the same from the two newly defined triangles. So the number of triangles can go up quite high if you will click that refine button several times, just like I did. Now let's see, I will wait for this to get back. So we see that it's currently not responding. Yeah, and we managed to have that stabilized. And if I will go over here and check the mesh, we're gonna see how fine the triangles will be for that newly defined area. If I will check the information, so I'll type in over here information. For the monkey 2, which we added those meshes, we're gonna see that the total number of triangles will be 1.3 million, and the original mesh only had 62k triangles. So keep that in mind, that in some cases you don't need to heavily refine that, because the output mesh will be quite high. After that, you can also go with brushing over here, either brush smooth or overall smooth, in order to make those meshes a little bit, let's say, better in some cases. But again, this will take a lot of processing capabilities, since we added quite a lot of elements over there. And we can see that with the brush tool, if you're gonna do multiple passes over there, we can have those smoothed. The same will be over here for the front part. Okay, so this was regarding sculpting curves in CATIA V5. I will position a similar video over here on the bottom left side. I will add the CATIA V5 tips and tricks over here, and I will also add a subscribe button. So consider to subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching.